There we go. All right. So you said you're in New York. Where in New York are you?
I'm currently in Soho, in between Prince and Spring Street.
Okay. And where are you from in New York?
I'm from 2 hours north of the city, Saugerties, New York. It's right next to Woodstock in the Catskill Mountain region. The old peace, love, and music, all that good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually watched the what 94 Woodstock documentary.
Yes,
Wow. That was
yeah,
completely
quite a
different than
scene.
69.
Yeah, that was. I mean, so the '94 doc. I don't know if that was the one on Netflix, because '94 was a big success, but then there was the '99 doc that was on HBO.
That's the one. That's the one I
Yeah,
think of.
that was bad.
Where the Chili Peppers set the whole place on fire, basically.
Yes, they did. Well, the people set the place on
Yeah.
fire, and the Chili Peppers, they added some fire to the flames, or
Yeah.
whatever you said.
Yeah. Good song choice at the right time. And
Yeah, fuel to the fire, I think
yeah.
is the right terminology there.
No, I'm really excited to have you on here. I'm a huge fan of the Savannah Bananas. How many times have you heard Gwen Stefani in your head when you've tried to spell the word bananas?
That's a very good question. I'm surprised I haven't heard that before. Surprisingly, I'm able to. I don't think it's ever actually happened to me.
Really?
I No, yeah, I just focus on the two ends in Savannah and an H at the end, and besides that, I've for some reason the melody doesn't come in.
Every time I'm writing it out, I'm like Bananan. Okay. We're off to a good start. So some rapid fire baseball related questions for you. First, coolest stadium you've ever been to?
Oh my gosh, that's a brutal question right off the bat. Because we've been in so many great ones. I mean, historic Grayson Stadium, our hometown park is
Yeah.
phenomenal. Built in 1926, and the Babe, Lou Gehrig, Hank Aaron,
Yeah.
all the way to John Smoltz, Dale Murphy. I mean, that's a really cool park, and I feel the magic every time I'm in there. I would say even more powerful than our darling old Grayson Stadium, Rickwood Field in Birmingham. I mean that feels like you're walking into a museum, and then all
Yeah.
of a sudden we sold it out with 10,000 people, and actually had a baseball game, and brought it back to life. That's probably what stands above the rest, but there's so many amazing parks so far.
Yeah, I'm a baseball stadium nerd, so I like going to different cities and different stadiums. And actually, Rickwood's one I've not been to yet. It's an hour and a half up the road, so
Yeah,
I
it's
want to
got
go
the
there for
lights
a
from the
game.
Oh yeah, it's got the
Yeah.
lights from the Polo Grounds in it. I mean, and the historic outfield wall with all the
Oh yeah.
ancient advertisements.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's special.
Definitely can't pull up in the parking lot and just walk around. I have to go in there. Craziest minor league nickname you've heard?
Ooh, geez, this is for a team.
Yep.
Oh
There's
gosh.
some off the wall ones out there.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I love the Trash Pandas.
That was going to be
Um,
mine. Rocket City.
yeah,
Yeah.
Rocket City. That's good stuff. Bama team. I love the Trash Pandas. I like the Lug Nuts. Like that someone just decided that they were going to be Lug Nuts.
Well, I'm rocking
Jumbo
Montgomery biscuits today, so
Biscuits is fantastic. I like the Jumbo Shrimp in Jacksonville. There's so many, and then there's some kind of the Otterbots. I like the Otterbots as
yeah.
well. Robot otters. That's fun.
Okay. Yeah, if you ever want to be entertained, just look up minor league baseball names
Yeah.
and just scroll through your phone.
How could I leave out the Rumble Ponies in Binghamton,
Right.
New York?
So we mentioned a couple of food items here. What's your favorite stadium food you've ever had?
Ooh, for me, I've had a lot of great ones. I've been to 10 or 11 major league parks, and a whole lot of minor league and other stadiums. The Banh Mi hot dog in Nats Park in our nation's capital is my favorite thing that I've ever had at a game. It's a hot dog with like everything you'd have on a traditional banh mi on top.
Yep.
Uh, Knocked my socks off.
Wow. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm big on getting stadium food too. Uh, Most underrated Yankee.
Wow, most underrated Yankee. Geez, I mean, I don't know about underrated, but I'm a big Milky Cabrera fan. There was
Yeah.
like 3 years there in the he was an '09 guy, or right around there, where he had like five walk-offs one year. Was never the best player on the
Hmm.
team, but he was terrific. Underrated wise, ooh, that's a tough one. Hideki Matsui. I don't think people really recognized how amazing he was. Obviously, he has the World Series MVP.
Yeah.
Um,
I think
but yeah,
Messina.
fantastic. Oh my gosh, Mike Messina. Yeah, that's a great one where he had base almost two Hall of Fame careers with the Orioles and then with the Yankees,
Yeah.
and was never seemed like the ace, quote unquote, but always was the ace.
Yeah. Very instrumental. Uh, best baseball movie.
Whoo! I am very impartial. For me, it probably goes to Sandlot. I don't know if it's the best. Bull Durham and
Yeah.
Major League are up there. Major League is probably my favorite, but I think I respect what Sandlot does maybe a little bit more. But
Yeah.
I'd say my favorite Major League, but Sandlot takes the cake as far as just overall best.
Okay. I think Rookie of the Year is a sleeper. Field of Dreams is a classic. There's so many good ones out
Legendary,
there. Yeah.
legendary.
Uh, you're playing in the majors. What would your entrance music be to come up to bat?
I always love coming up to Gasolina by Daddy Yankee.
Okay. All right. And best major league series you've ever seen, like from postseason.
Probably the 2016 World Series, the Cubs and the formerly named Cleveland Indians.
Yeah, that was a good
The
one.
3-1 comeback. Game 7 was probably the greatest baseball game I've seen in my life with the Rajay Davis home run off Chapman.
Mm-hmm.
And then it looked like the Cubs were dead in the water, and then the rain delay from the heavens. And then Ben Zobrist with the 2-run double, all the way to Chris Bryant getting to field the ground ball and throw it across the diamond to Anthony Rizzo. The two cornerstones of the infield, the
Yeah,
franchise, breaking the longest curse in baseball. That had it all for me.
grown people crying and wriggling. I mean, it was crazy.
It's beautiful. But
Yeah,
you had people in Chicago breaking out beers that they had for like 5, 6
yeah,
decades. They said they
yeah,
weren't going to drink until the Cubs won the World Series. It's
yeah.
awesome.
I'm a Braves fan, so I would say the '91 series with the Twins was still the best that I've seen. Kirby Puckett,
Yeah,
it was so good. All
I
right,
agree with that. Before
so
my time, but
yeah,
it probably ranks
well,
higher. And
you're only what, like 25 years old?
I just turned 26. I
26.
snuck in at the end of 96.
You're probably our youngest guest that I've had on here.
All
So
right. That's a
that's
pretty
good.
serious
That's good.
accolade. Yeah.
You're gonna drive up my lower 26 demographic, so that's
That's what
good.
we're here for.
So nice. So let our listeners know out there, like, where did you mentioned growing up in New York? What was some of your aspirations as a kid?
I always, from as far back as my memory allows, I always wanted to be a Major League Baseball player. I spent countless hours just in the front yard, backyard, driveway, whatever, just imagining myself hitting home runs in Yankee Stadium, being the first person to bat 1,000 across a 162 game season. You got to shoot for the moon. You might
Oh
land in the
yeah.
stars. And also like striking out everybody I face on the mound. I was Shohei Ohtani before Shohei Ohtani came to the U.S. In my imagination, at least. So yeah, Major League Baseball player was always the dream. And then when I was about 15 years old, after I was a very good baseball player, but I didn't have the gifts that I knew I needed to make it to that level. So I said, "What's the next best thing?" And that would be talking about baseball.
What positions did you play?
I was a middle infielder, mostly second base
Hmm.
growing up. And then seventh grade, trying out for our modified baseball team. I was towards the end of the line of everybody picking positions. And pretty much 85% of the people said middle infield. And although I knew I was good and had a good chance to make the team, I was like, well, I don't want to compete against all these people. There's only like 8 openings, and it was close to a 100 kid tryout. So they got to me, and I was like, nobody said right field. So I said right field, not even outfielder. I just said right field,
Yeah.
and made the team as an outfielder. And so I still played some middle infield from that point on, but actually spent a lot more time in the outfield, mostly in center.
You know what? Right field is always funny to me because when you're younger, it's like you don't want to go there. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, I'm right. Like you're upset. You're on the field, but you're so mad. But it's such a pivotal position for major leagues, and I mean anywhere else. But
yeah.
yeah,
You put your guy with the best arm in right. Yeah, but growing up, it was like the kid who was going to be eating daisies and picking grass and stuff. They would
yeah,
send out
yeah.
to right.
I think the joke we say whenever somebody's thinks they're good at something, we're like, my baby's the best at right field. He's so good.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but no, yeah, I was second base and shortstop. Those were my two. Yeah, I was on track to be a number one draft pick as well, and have a Hall of Fame career, and then height and all kinds of other stuff just kept me from doing it. So you wanted to be a broadcaster. You went to Syracuse, where I mean, Bob Costas, Ted Koppel, Mike Tirico, like it's like the journalism school, I think. When I think of Syracuse, what made you go there?
Well, I'd like to say that we think we're the journalism school as well. So I appreciate you continuing to rep that trip. Um, yeah, I mean that's why I went there. I mean, it was a little less than 3 hours away from home in Saugerties. Getting up to Central New York, I had a very influential person in my life, Frank Hannigan.
Mhm.
Was one of my neighbors growing up. I used to take care of him when his wife would go away, and we'd hang out and watch baseball, basketball, whatever was on, and talk shop. He loved sports, and was actually a very influential man in the golf world. So through that, he had a lot of connections in media. And he told me, we talked about what I wanted to do in life. He told me Syracuse is the place to go. And then tragically, Frank passed away when I was in 11th grade, just
Mm.
complications from a surgery, kind of the first person I honestly lost in life. And through his memorial, I ended up meeting all of these people in the industry, and they
Wow.
continued to tell me, and it was a pivotal part in my life. They said, yeah, if you're going into broadcasting, Syracuse is the place. So I said, well, Frank says it. Everyone in Frank's life says it. The internet says it. This is the place for me. And then I took a visit. I had visited Oneonta with a friend. Syracuse was the second and the only other school I would even visit, because I went there, I fell in love, applied early decision, and the rest was history.
Was Syracuse your college team growing up?
Notre Dame. I was always a Notre
Oh
Dame
yeah.
guy. Yeah, my uncle Mike on my mom's side of the family influenced all of my sports rooting, affiliations, and he went to ND. So I was a big Fighting Irish guy growing up, and then Syracuse was number two. But
Yeah.
the football team in my life, I was, I was a little bit after Donovan McNabb, so I didn't really get those glory days. Syracuse football was never much to cheer about, but the
Had like
basketball
nine
team was
good
fun to
weeks this
watch.
year.
Oh yeah, we're back. Oh no, football school.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Dino Babers, we're on board.
I have no idea what's going on with their basketball team right now. I think they're like 9-5 at the time we're recording or something like that. It's
Yes, we just had a 6 game winning streak snapped, I believe. Tough loss
Pitt.
against Pitt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, so I'm a
That's
Tar Heel in college sports. So
mm,
I think our football season kind of mirrored Syracuse football season. Started off really
yeah.
hot,
Yes.
tailed off, and then
Came down to earth. Yeah.
yeah, went on a 4-game losing streak to start the year. Um, so you go to Syracuse. What were some of the best memories you have from there?
Oh man. Yeah, I unfortunately was only there for 3 years, because I came in with so many credits. It was something that, when you're there, you love it so much. You would
Yeah.
love to spend another year, but through AP classes and a couple college classes in high school, I basically had a year of college behind me before I even got there. And it's foolish to give them your money for another year when you can get
Yeah.
out. Um, but through 3 years, I mean, the Carrier Dome, just being in there for basketball games, that comes to the front of my mind before anything else. I mean, we have the top 5 to 10 attendances in the country every year in basketball.
I think it's the
30 to
largest stadium.
35,000. Yes, yeah,
Hmm.
and it's just a sea of orange. The energy is amazing. That's probably what comes to mind first, and then second is tailgating for football and basketball games. That's kind of, we take a lot of pride in being an Associated Press top 5 party school in the country, and that's because even if we're underneath a few feet of snow and it's close to 0 degrees, we'll be out there celebrating, pregame just with the rest of them in the country. So, yeah, it's all sports related. Marshall Street's amazing. There's great food and great bars down there as well. And then just being in Newhouse and getting opportunity on NPR radio station. I mean, there's a lot more that goes into it, but it's the
Yeah.
basketball and tailgating that is, or the memories will last forever.
Did you ever get to go to the Big East tournament at the Garden?
No, because I'm post Big East, so I'm an ACC guy
Yeah, they've
when
been
I got
in.
to.
Yeah, they've
Yeah,
been in for a
I
while
was
now.
like I was like 3 or 4 years after the switch from the Big East to the ACC.
Hmm. So
Is
that's all
because
you know is Syracuse ACC.
the Atlantic Coast, baby. I rep it. I know the Big East. The rivalries still stand. I mean, my first couple years there, we lost to St. John's back to back, and then Boeheim said we're never playing them again, and then we played them again this year and lost once again to make it four straight. That's tough. But the Georgetown, playing Villanova, UConn, those games, they still have a lot of meaning for everybody on campus.
I'm gonna age myself, but I remember growing up watching what is it, Big Monday on ESPN, and it was the Big East game of the week, and Georgetown was relevant. Villanova, I mean, Villanova's been relevant the past couple of years, but Villanova was, I mean, oh my gosh, it St. John's, it was such good basketball, and the Big East tournament was like the go-to. Um, what is it? What was his name for Syracuse around?
Jerry McNamara.
Oh my gosh, yes, yes. Just watching those tournaments for 4 or 5 days in New York was just, it was crazy. But yeah, so you go to Syracuse, you finish up there, and then you land a pretty sweet gig. Did you go directly to the MLB network?
I did, and so I had broadcast baseball, another sweet gig, in my hometown in Saugerties, the Saugerties Stallions in the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League. The team was created the year before I went to school, and then all of a sudden I could broadcast from home. Worked at the local hardware store during the day. Went over and got paid in chicken tenders and hamburgers and hot dogs to broadcast games. Um, and that's how I fell in love with it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's we did radio the first summer. We had like a 4 camera broadcast the second summer. It was such a blast. And I wanted to continue to go into broadcasting once I graduated. But then MLB Network, they go to a few schools in the Northeast recruiting. And I was like, well, I'd be an idiot not to sit down for 15 minutes with
Oh
them.
yeah.
And I sat down with, one of their producers and head of production and so on. And they sold me on it. I mean, I had asked in that interview, have you ever seen someone go from the production side to on air, which was my dream? And they said no, but you never know. But it was going to be worth it for me to get that experience. I basically edited there for 2+ years, got promoted to associate producer, but was bumping elbows and working alongside Harold Reynolds, Jim Tomei, Pedro Martinez, Sean Casey, Mark DeRosa. The list goes on, Kevin Millar. And that Eric Burns, who comes back into my story at a later date. But it was a lifelong dream for a kid who grew up idolizing these people as the early and mid 2000s was when I was obsessed with baseball as a
Yeah.
kid, so that was definitely a bucket list opportunity. I got very lucky getting to be over there in Secaucus, New Jersey.
Wow. Gosh, just hearing that. That's crazy. And then the pandemic happened. And is that where your story kind of changes and starts to kind of lead you towards the bananas? Or do you think the pandemic had any, like, if it had never taken place, do you think you would still be at MLB Network?
Yeah, I got chills when you asked that, Trip, because it is a big turning point in my life for
Hmm.
sure. I know I would not be at MLB Network, whether the pandemic happened or not. I loved what I did there, and it was an amazing 2+ years. But I knew it wasn't what I wanted to do long
Yeah.
term. It was a couple year experience for me, to make some great connections and learn a lot about TV. And
Wasn't your
I always
purpose
wanted
though.
it wasn't 100%. I
Yeah.
always wanted to get back in the broadcasting booth. And as amazing and as much of a dream as it was to get paid to watch the 140, 150 Yankee games every summer and work in the business with all these amazing people, it's different staring at a screen than being at the game. And I felt my head looking towards the window. I wanted to be back outside. I wanted to be in the ballpark, hearing the crack of the bat live. And so going into 2020, I was shopping around, trying to stay in the New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania area, because my girlfriend was in law school at the time at St. John's University. And there wasn't a lot of openings. People were either hiring from within or just holding on to the job. And then I saw the opening for the Bananas about a month before COVID happened.
So like
And
February.
yeah, it was the end of February, February 28th. I think I
Wow.
sent my application in. It was a job posting unlike any other. I mean, all these jobs ask for a resume and a cover letter and you're real. This, I think, maybe wanted a resume, but no cover letter, and it wanted 3 fresh batters of play-by-play broadcasting as you would if you were the Bananas broadcaster, which is technically the broadcast entertainer, as Jesse Cole and
Yeah.
John Chelsnick, the creator of Sportscasters Talent Agency of America, kind of crafted the position together to combine somebody maybe with a broadcasting history like a Syracuse student and also the ultimate fan,
Hmm.
who makes it feel like, you're watching the game sitting next to them on the couch, and they
Yeah.
just happen to be incredibly knowledgeable. So that really intrigued me. I watched the Bananas 20-minute story online and was sucked in and was like, this is probably the craziest thing going on in the world as far as my world concerns, and I got to see it with my eyes. So yeah, that's what got me roped in.
Did you end up going to Bananas game before you actually got hired, or how did that go?
No, I mean, I sent my little 10-minute video in where I turned my girlfriend's basement Jamaica Queens apartment into Grayson Stadium using my imagination. Um, and which, it turns out it helps to have a colorful imagination in this business. Um, and I talked to Jesse within the next week. We chatted for like 50 minutes in the Bayonne Public Library on a Zoom call. He gave me the job offer. We ironed out some details, and I was like, I'm in. Started
Yeah.
podcasting for them actually
Oh wow.
within like a couple weeks after that. Yes, with their vice president Barry Aldridge, and in between the couple months that was going down, the season got delayed because of COVID.
Hmm.
Um, She's 13 of the 16 teams in the league dropped out. So it was only going to be the Bananas, the Macon Bacon, and the Lexington County Blowfish. All of a sudden, it was a 3-team league.
Two more good names right
And
there.
oh, tremendous, tremendous. And I was all in. This is what I wanted to do. It was a part-time gig. It was only 2.5 months of broadcasting, and I left a full-time job with benefits and everything for it. But I knew that whether the Bananas were the future, it was either a future for me or it was going to be a stepping stone to somewhere else. Was honestly what I truly thought it was going to be. And then I got down there half capacity, experienced, everything that comes together to make the magic of Bananaland. And then, once you're there for that season, everyone's like, oh, you got to come back and see it full. It's sure the environment was amazing, but wait till the stands are fully packed like they were for 88 straight games before you
Yeah.
came here. And that got me back for 2021, and then Banana Ball was birthed, and the rest is history.
Yeah. Before we get into Banana Ball, talk to us about Jesse Cole and just how that is interacting with him. Because watching the Bananaland documentary, he did something that really stood out to me, which was really cool. Is he writes down like 10 ideas every day, and he's like, I may have like 3,000 that are just trash ideas, but I have 10 or whatever that are gold. What is it like dealing with him, interacting with him on a daily basis?
It's amazing. It's very fun
Yeah.
because he is the greatest creative genius I've ever encountered in life, and I'd be
Hmm.
surprised if I encounter anybody who tops him. Um, he is what you see on the Bananaland doc. I mean, he's manic, he's crazy. There's nothing. He's a family man, so he has 3 kids, and of course his wife, co owner of the team, Emily. That's number one for him. But really close to that is the Savannah Bananas. I mean,
Yeah.
he pours his life and soul into this organization and making it the most fun, entertaining, and fans first team in the world. So getting to work with him, and as you mentioned, the 10 ideas every day. Like you said, you might have 3,000 bad ideas in a year, but then you have 650 amazing ones when you
Hmm.
do the math. And he just pushes you to get to his level. All of our idea paloozas, we call them, brainstorming sessions and everything. Most companies, you probably come in with an idea, 2 or 3. We're coming in with 10 of them to get to his level, because you force yourself to creatively get to 10 ideas.
Yeah.
Sometimes your eighth or ninth idea surprisingly is your best. You
Mm.
you just never know. So yeah, he demands a lot of us, but is very understanding and a really respectful employer and really fun to be around. I mean, he works hard, but he plays hard too, and he loves to celebrate success. So we have a blast with him.
One thing that stood out to me watching his interaction with everybody on the documentary, which I think is a lesson that a lot of leaders, especially in the military, can take away from it, is it looks like he's very meticulous with how he does things. Like you could see him talking in between innings and saying like, what's the status, what's going on with this? And it like in control, but he's also if something doesn't go according to plan, or if he's not in the know of something, I think like with the burning bat, they didn't tell him about that. But then when he finds out, some people are going to be like, "Oh, you went behind my back," and but he was like, "Oh, that was cool. It went viral. This is crazy. I love it." And just seeing how he's willing to let go of that control and be open and trust everybody around him, I think that's something that a lot of people can take away from just seeing that.
Oh yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, he's a details-oriented person who he's crafted this insane show, the circus surrounding the game
Yeah,
that is timed to the second with Zach Frangelo, our director of entertainment, who's came from the Vegas Golden Knights and
yeah,
took the whole thing to the next level. Where everything is so planned out, and obviously what happens between the lines is not. It's a baseball game, now a banana ball game, and you can't control what's happening there, but we have a lot of plans to react to possible outcomes. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And you want to be as controlling and as timed and knowledgeable as you possibly can be, but he also has to embrace the chaos. And I know he's gotten a lot better at embracing the chaos just in my 3 years with the team.
Yeah.
He continues to evolve and grow with that, as we all do. So it's a pretty fun tightrope walk that you kind of have to work with, controlling everything, but also just embracing the mayhem that can occur in a banana ball game.
Well, speaking of the mayhem, for our listeners out there who have never heard of Banana Ball, how would you describe it to them?
I mean, it's baseball with like 10 cups of coffee. I mean, it's hyper baseball. So it's baseball for people who don't love baseball. It's also baseball for people who do love baseball. I consider myself a quote unquote traditionalist and a
Yeah,
lifelong fan of the game. Nothing has been more important to me in life than baseball. And anytime Major League Baseball implements a rule change, I'm like very like they did the extra inning thing with putting a guy on second base, and I'm like pounding windows, so angry that they're doing this, massacring my game. But I love Banana Ball. I love it so much. And you slap a 2 hour time limit on it. You can't get out of the batter's box. There's no mound visits. That all speeds up the game a ton. We get 8 to 9 innings in under 2 hours consistently. When we get 7 innings in, I mean, it's a huge disappointment for us. We're like, where did we go wrong? And that's a balance of, you know, fun walk-ups and entertainment and this and that, and also keeping the game moving.
yeah.
But yeah, and then you do some stuff for the fans. Like if a fan catches a foul ball, it's an out. That's my favorite rule
That's so
personally.
cool.
It's amazing. I mean, it's so fun
Then you
because our whole
recognize them.
thing. Exactly. You bring them out in the field, you say
Yeah,
congratulations. If they catch a bananas foul ball, they get booed, and that's just part of the fun. And if they catch a party animals foul ball or one of the challengers that we're playing against, they're a hero for the rest of their lives. And that is what it's all about. We're here to create lifelong memories for fans. And literally making them a part of the game is one of the best ways we figured out to do that.
yeah. I agree with you. I'm a traditionalist too, and anytime Major League Baseball comes, or any sport for that matter, and I, I
Yes.
would I would say baseball for the most part, they could do something like you said, the extra inning, put someone on second, and I'm like, they're ruining the game. But then I'm like, oh, bananas are on. Let me watch this, and you, you just lose yourself in it. But no, I one thing that I thought was really cool. My wife showed me. I believe it was Dalton from the Bananas.
Yes.
He posted something about, um, this just goes to show the relationship between the fans, how social media's played a role in what y'all are creating down there, and he posted about how he used to go to the games and want the autographs, and it was actually kind of an emotional post, and now he's the one that's giving the autographs, and they get autographs from the fans too, which I think is crazy. Talk to us about a relationship between the fans and social media, because that really goes into it as well. You go to a game at Yankee Stadium, you're basically just watching the Yankees. The fans are, they're there, but for y'all, that the fans kind of make it a complete package.
I couldn't agree more, and that's why the greater company that owns the Savannah Bananas, Jesse and Emily's company, with Jared Orton now in on it too, our president, is fans first entertainment, because
Hmm.
every decision we make is for the fans. And yeah, Brian Encarnacion was the first banana to, when asked to give his autograph to a fan, he first got down on a knee and said, "Well, let me get your autograph first." It was, a
So cool.
5 or 6 year old kid, and that just makes people's lives. And then Michael Deeb, Vitamin Deeb, as we call him in the business, took it to a whole new level. He was back at in Daytona this past spring. He went to Bethune-Cookman for 2 years after Notre Dame for 4 years, where he was a linebacker and special teams man. And he's back in Jackie Robinson Ballpark, his hometown park, for a couple years, and hits a walk off to win the game and all this stuff. And all of a sudden, we are doing our post game celebration, what we call the Party Plaza, out with all the fans, where the cast, crew,
Yeah.
characters, players, coaches, and everybody just mingle with the fans and party and dance after the game for 20 minutes, a half an hour. And his jersey, his yellow jersey, is covered in autographs from little kids.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. And when you mention the Yankees, my the most important thing in my life as a kid, my greatest memory at a Yankees game was Ching Ming Wong throwing me a ball in left field at batting practice. Like, it's so rare, and I've been to over 50 Yankee games. Like, it happened that one time, and actually the only other time I got a ball was back when they were the Devil Rays. Their first base coach hit me a ball with a fungo, and I was in left field. And those are the two greatest moments I've ever had in Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
And I've been to half 100 games. So it's just all about those fan moments. And you go back to Dalton Malden, and it was an emotional post that he
Mhm.
put on there, just about the power that he and all of the bananas and party animals and anybody associated with banana ball has now, in just taking the minute out of your day to chat with fans,
Yeah.
especially the younger fans, and hand out autographs and take pictures. Like, it
I'll
just
never
brings
forget it.
so much joy. Yeah, we're in the business of bringing joy, so it's cool that we're able to do that as much as we can.
I actually got a ball tossed to me by Ricky Henderson.
I see, that's legendary.
Yeah, but little did I know that when I called his name. I was like, "Hey, Ricky." He was with the Dodgers for a cup of coffee, and he was
Yeah.
walking by, and I caught it. And when I got it, my friends were looking at me like shaking their heads. I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "Bro, you like push people out of the way to get that ball." I didn't. All I saw was Ricky Henderson looked at me and was throwing it to me, but I still have it. Yeah, but you're right though. Just taking that 1 minute just to sign something, or just to say hey to somebody, or it means the world to those kids. I can imagine they'll be talking about that for forever and ever. Um, how cool was it for you to actually be able to broadcast on ESPN?
I mean, words escape me when I think about it. I mean, it
I
was
would
it
tell
was mind
everybody that when
boggling.
I introduce myself.
Hey, I'm Biko Skalla. I just broadcast on ESPN
Yeah,
too.
you probably see me on ESPN, even like 30 years from now. I've been on ESPN.
Yeah, were you, if you were watching ESPN two, August 19th,
Yeah.
2021, for 2 hours, you saw me. Um, yeah, no, I mean, it's a lifelong dream. That's why I'm in the business, is because I want to broadcast any kind of sport, but baseball in particular, if my dream and the stars can truly align, at the highest level. Um, so it's the most mind-boggling part of it is knowing that I took a 2.5 month job to broadcast summer collegiate baseball with the Bananas, and it was the Savannah Bananas that elevated me to the mothership, to the worldwide leader in sports.
Yeah.
And then now we've had 7 broadcasts on ESPN Plus as well, and the documentary and everything, and it's like, it's mind boggling. It's really cool, and I wanted to be able to step up my broadcast to reach that level. And then, of course, the most terrifying thing possible ever happens on my network TV debut. Bill Lee nearly dies in the bullpen. And it's like, you just got to stay calm, stay collected, and
Yeah.
and try and have the right emotional response to keep everyone informed and not freak out, in a moment like that.
Mhm.
And thank everything in the world that Bill ended up being a-okay, and we had first responders there to help him and provide him what he needed in that time. And yeah, but that was a really, like, what is going on in the world type moment, where the stars are aligning and I get to make my network TV debut. And then this great man Scooby Mageza was on the broadcast with me. He's an ESPN Snapchat and social media guy, and he had never been on ESPN or ESPN2. You know, he'd only been on the social medias, and he was like, I don't know, maybe a minute into he was going to be on for the entirety of the fourth inning, and then Bill went down in the bullpen, and Scooby was like, okay, I definitely have to clear out of here, right? So, and we
Yeah.
got him on the next night on ESPN Plus. But it's just you know, it's off topic, but it's insane the way the world works sometimes.
It seems like a lot of the stuff with your journey is just things are aligned at just the right time. Like it seems like timing is everything with you. Yeah, I was gonna say this. It's funny. This kind of goes to show like banana ball and how its impact. My wife works at a credit union with 8 other women. They come into the credit union talking about going to the Bananas game. They do not come into the credit union talking about the Phillies and Astros in the World Series. So I just think that speaks volumes to what y'all have going on down in Savannah with this baseball team. It is crazy. And then how cool is that to work with? You mentioned Billy and PV and Papel, like they're bringing out Golden Gloves and World Series trophies and kilts. For you as a fan, how cool is that to interact with those guys?
I mean, I continue to be living the dream, and you are right that I've been beyond lucky in my life, and that's been a theme throughout. I'd say the entirety of it is I've walked. It's a little Forrest Gumpy to you know, in my main character mindset that I keep having these great breaks, but yeah, now I go from MLB Network where I was bumping shoulders with all of these people I admired so much, and Eric Burns comes along with that. I do like 5 tapes with him at MLB Network. All of a sudden, he's the head coach for the Banana Ball team this past spring. Um, it's so cool, and everybody we've brought in has been amazing. Bill Lee is just the coolest cat you could possibly meet in your
Yeah,
entire life. He could tell you stories, and it would like a full year's time without sleeping. You could just sit here and listen to him talk about things
yeah.
that have happened in his life, and you won't fall asleep because you're just mesmerized. Um, he's amazing, and my grandfather grew up in Brookline, Massachusetts, a huge Red Sox fan and a fan of the Spaceman and everything. So the fact that, you know, I get to have all these memories with Bill Lee now is a really cool connection for my grandpa Larry and I. And then yeah, you mentioned like Papelbon was a lunatic coming in with the kilt and the World Series trophy. He was really fun. Johnny Gomes is the nicest person you could possibly meet in your entire life. Just so cool. We went to Dave and Buster's with him in Kansas City and had like Zach Frontal. I mentioned him again, our director of entertainment. He's a diehard Red Sox fan. We felt like it was borderline like a make a wish moment for him. Like
Johnny
him and
Bench.
Johnny Gomes. Yeah, Johnny Bench. Are you kidding me? I mean, like the best catcher in baseball history is just hanging out with us in West Palm Beach and coaching first base, and um, it's amazing. And then, as you mentioned, Jake Peavy with the Gold Glove in Birmingham. Peavy, another one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. He was honestly the first big shot former MLB guy to kind of have fun with us in Mobile, Alabama, in the One City World Tour back in 2021.
Yeah.
Um, and went out with us after Saturday night and like showed us his private bar he was just opening up and stuff, and like covered thousands of dollars of drinks for our 100 plus person team and everything. I mean, like all of these people coming together is beyond mind boggling. And then Josh Reddick, the hometown kid
Yeah.
in Savannah, he comes in, makes a Sports Center top 10 catch, hits an absolute moonshot of a home run, takes the jersey off. He's got the Spider-Man underneath. I mean, just fits in perfectly. It's so cool to have all of these guys who have such distinguished MLB careers and have done amazing things at the top level of this game come and absolutely let loose, and a lot of them have said it's the most fun they've ever had playing baseball. So, and
Yeah.
that's all we can ever ask from it.
It's awesome to get them sign off on it because, like you said, the traditionalist piece. And even I think it was Peavy was like, yeah, that's got me ready to start working out for maybe going another inning next year. And what I got to ask you, what does your autograph collection look like at this point? Autograph balls.
I mean, I haven't. at MLB Network, it's drilled into you that you are not allowed to ask for an autograph from
Ah,
any kind of talent in the world.
yeah.
So I haven't asked for one from anybody. I'm just getting to be in their presence and hanging out with them is enough for me.
Stories. Yeah.
That's what it is. Experiences and memories, man.
Yeah. You can be writing a book one of these days. I have a feeling. If you're not journaling all this stuff down, write it down because you'll get my age, you'll start forgetting it. But
I
yeah,
know.
already.
I know. I've been
Yeah.
thinking about it.
Yeah. You give yourself till you're like 30, get a couple more seasons under the belt, and then throw you a book out there with all these. Oh my gosh. Um, so tell us about Bananaland. It's an awesome documentary. I watched it. I mean, it was so cool seeing all the vintage parks, seeing kind of behind the scenes of what y'all do. But let our listeners know, where can they find it and what was it about?
So you can watch Bananaland on ESPN Plus or Hulu. Right now, it's 5 parts. Every episode's like 40 to 50 minutes.
Mhm.
And it is about the 2022 Banana Ball World Tour, which was 14 games of Banana Ball. Like I mentioned earlier, we had done the One City World Tour, 2 games, one weekend in Mobile, Alabama in 2021. And now we were like, hey, let's see what happens if we go to 7 cities. And every city sold out, and it was a magical experience the whole way. So the doc is really about the construction of the tour, the creation of the two teams, the Bananas and the Party Animals, and us continuing to try and put on a fun and unique show each step of the way. And Daytona, West Palm Beach, Birmingham, Montgomery, Columbus, Georgia, Savannah, of course, and Kansas City, Kansas. And yeah, it's the documentary team Rumor, who did it for ESPN. Just the coolest people you'll ever meet in your life. I never felt uncomfortable with them around us all the time with cameras and everything, because they were just such great people, and
Yeah.
really put their hearts and souls into the doc. And I know we're battling ESPN every step of the way to try and tell the story how they thought it should be told. So we can't appreciate them enough. It's a fun little journey. You learn a lot about Banana Ball. You learn a lot about what the Bananas are trying to do. And I'm very biased, but I think it's pretty entertaining too.
Where where did you eat when you came to Montgomery? Do you remember that? I know you had issues with the hotel.
Oh gosh, we ate right by Riverwalk
Yeah,
Stadium.
it's probably the alley.
It was so we didn't eat in the alley the first day we were there. I was with we have like an early crew that comes like 12 of us or so to kind
Yeah,
of set up the day beforehand. But we did eat at a very famous barbecue place.
I know what you're talking about. Dreamland. Was it
Yes.
no? Was it Dreamland or?
I don't
I
I
know
don't
it's right there, right by the stadium, like
it's
right down.
it's right there. I was like, is it like it's like Uncle Bob's or something like that?
Yeah, I was gonna say
Um
that was when y'all go back, go to Wenzel's Seafood.
okay,
Right
Wenzel's
there,
Seafood. Yeah, the
so good.
I'm all in on that. Yeah, the barbecue was delicious, and then after the Saturday night game, we partied in the alley. We had like
Oh,
a whole
nice.
bar to ourselves, and we're doing all kinds of. We're a big booty mix. It's like I don't know, 100 to 200 songs like mashed together in a remix, and you get like a minute of every song, and they all fade into each other really nice. That's like if the Bananas are celebrating, there's like a 85% chance we're listening to Big Booty Mix. So there was like a stage.
Oh,
Everybody
wow.
from our mascot to man nanas to players to Maceo, our dancing first base coach, to actual coaches to people in the front office. Everyone was getting up on the stage and letting it loose. So that's a classic. That was a legendary Bananas party in Montgomery. And then I grade 2 sprained my ankle and chipped my bone tripping over a a little curb in the parking lot back at the hotel trying to fire the people up. I took a spill. It's like my biggest injury in my entire life, and it was at like 1:45
Here in
a.m. in
Montgomery.
Montgomery. Correct.
Wow. Okay. That's yeah. All right. So you're probably ready to come back here.
Oh, I'm
Um,
fired up.
yeah, I think it was Dreamland Barbecue. I just looked it up here.
Yeah,
Um,
I think you're spot
but
on.
there's also Moe's Original Barbecue, so it's probably one of those.
Oh, it was Moe's. It was
Moe's.
Moe's. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, some good barbecue here. Um, I gotta ask you, Emmy Award winning. How cool is that to see? I would tell people that too. I'd be like, I'm ESPN, I'm an Emmy Award winning broadcaster. How cool is that experience?
Another mind-boggling thing that I don't want to say I've lucked into, because I truly did. I worked very hard for that, and that was at MLB Network. And it was for MLB Tonight winning best studio show in the sports Emmys, and that's, MLB Tonight and Quick Pitch is what me and a handful of folks truly grinded on more than anything else. So there's a lot of us at the network that are really, really, humbled and really
Hmm.
feel grateful to have that honor, and to get the actual Emmy trophy is surreal, to say the least. But yeah, that happening when I was 22, and then I got the award that actually in my hand when I was 23. Just so cool, and
Yeah.
it's like it's another thing that puts you at a loss for words, but just right place, right time, and getting to work with amazing people to put such a cool show together.
All right. Where do you put your Emmy in the house?
Oh my gosh, it's so crazy. I actually haven't seen it since I won it. Um, I was driving back from Macon, as I would after doing a broadcast in 2020,
Yep.
when we found out I won the award, and had a little in-car party with our marketing team. Kara Heater, our marketing director, Savannah, our marketing coordinator, and then Dakota Beaver, who ran all of our game day employees, were all took the trip to Macon to experience the game,
Yep.
and took the free ride there and back in my 2008 Toyota Scion I had at the time, which was a cozy ride. So that was a really fun way to discover I got it, and then I actually got the award that in the prep season after that. Took some pictures with it, and then was thinking about if I should bring it down to Savannah or not. Decided I might as well keep it safe at my mom's house. And son of a gun, I haven't seen it since. So when I go up for the holidays in a couple days, I'll have to break it out and take a look at it. I'm actually
Oh
not sure where my mom has hid it.
yeah. that if I give it to my mom, she'd probably have given it away to somebody at some point in time. But if I had it, it'd be on like the fire mantle, like right in
Yes.
the living room. Anybody that comes in, we'll talk about it. How cool was that for the Bananas to be the Coastal Plains champions in 2021?
That's another thing. I continue to say, I'm living this Forrest Gump life. I'm such an ancillary character in that part of the whole scheme. But I come to Savannah. We have the 3-team season in 2020, where there was no championship on the line,
Hmm.
and then in 2021, with just an absolutely veteran laden crew, a handful of 4-year guys like Bill Leroy, Kyle Lewigs, um, and then a lot of 3-year guys. Dan Oberst and Christian Dierman are still on the pro team. In that respect, it was just such an amazing group of guys, and they had been so close to winning the championship. They had made the playoffs, and won some games there in 2018 and 2019 together. That was so incredible.
Yeah.
What an amazing experience. And they lost the first game, and then won 2 straight against the High Point Thomasville High Toms, and then won one in Morehead City against the best team from the CPL East. And then lost one at home, and once again had to go to a decisive game 3 and just absolutely clobbered them. That was magical. That was like an out of body experience for me. And then a bunch of the guys come back and bring in some new talented faces. And son of a gun, they did it again in 2022. And
Yeah.
that made it 3 Coastal Plain League championships in 6 years where the Pettit Cup was on the line. And that just continues to prove. Curtis Sproul, a professor at Georgia Southern University, actually has done a study over a couple summers that Bananas players legitimately play better in Bananaland, and he attributes it to all of the fun that they have playing. It's Tyler Gillen, the head coach of the team, the flip the switch mantra of you're entertaining, you're in one mode. If you're playing baseball, you flip the switch and you're playing ball. But man, it's incredible and storybook that they won it in 2016, the inaugural season, and feels like the perfect ending to the collegiate leg of this journey, that they
Yeah.
won back-to-back Pettit Cups, and then said, okay, that's the end of our collegiate summer ball story. Now we're moving on to banana ball. But amazing experiences both summers that happened.
I hate to compare it, but to baseball compared to college basketball, the crowd is like the Cameron Crazies of baseball. it just adds to. I noticed that during the pandemic when there was no crowds for any of those college games, and that you remember the cardboard cutout era,
Never
and
forget.
oh my gosh, so like watching that, like that's what made me realize like college basketball kind of needs the Cameron crazies. Like these arenas need fans. So yeah, just knowing that home field, that atmosphere that it creates, that's awesome to hear. And now it's full time Banana Ball, and y'all going on a 2023 World Tour. So tell us about some of the places you're excited to see on this tour. You're excited to return to, and what can fans expect from it?
Oh my goodness. I mean, the level of excitement is if you watch Spinal Tap and you know they've got all the
Yeah,
amps that go to 10 and it's got the one amp that goes to 11.
yeah.
I'm at 11 right now. I mean, it's just I am so gosh darn excited. I haven't traveled the country a ton. You know, I've been an East Coast guy my entire life. I've made it up to Maine and down to Florida. And the Bananas have got me into Alabama and through the road trip that I took with our group tickets coordinator, Kurt Kessler. I got through, you know, 5 states going from Savannah to Kansas City, Kansas this past spring, but now getting to Las Vegas, 4 cities in California. Rancho Cucamonga is, you know, an hour outside of LA. It's in the greater LA area. We're going to be in Fresno, Sacramento, San Jose. So we'll
Nice.
be real close to San Francisco. Getting into Texas and Sugarland, right in the Houston metro area. 3 games there is going to be incredible. Fired up to go up to Milwaukee,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, and to come back to New York. We're going to Syracuse. Oh, that gives me chills to think that we're going to be playing at Syracuse, and Cooperstown to close out the whole thing, and getting up
Oh, what a good
into, you know,
spot.
oh my gosh. I mean,
Gosh.
that is going to be that's going to be Rickwood Field vibes for sure because you can
Mm-hmm.
just feel the magic of that place every time I've been there. And yeah, excited to get up to Portland, Maine, and Brockton, Massachusetts, and into Connecticut. We're gonna be all over. We're in you know, Durham, North Carolina, with the Durham Bulls
Oh,
amazing new stadium.
yeah.
Um, yeah, it's going to be so cool, and I'm fired up to get back to almost all of the spots on the 2022 World Tour too.
Yeah.
I mean, West Palm Beach, that's the nearly $150 million facility. That is one of the crazier experiences I've ever had
Y'all
in my
sold it
life. Getting
out.
to be there. Yes, yeah, oh yeah, and it was surreal because you know it was spring training games, but we had the Marlins and the Nationals playing before us, and they had about 1,000 people. And then we had the Astros and the Cardinals playing after us, and they had about 1,000 people. And we had the full 7,500, 8,000, whatever it is, jam packed with Banana fans. So like that's another little spot on the journey where we're like, holy cow, what incarnation is
Yeah.
happening here?
Y'all got to go to the Field of Dreams. That would be awesome.
We couldn't agree more. You're spot on, Trip. I hope we'll be able to add it to the schedule in, you know,
Oh my
2024,
gosh.
2025 or something. We'd love to do a 50 state world tour so we can get up to Alaska and out to Hawaii and all that good stuff.
Do
Um,
they still have Rosenblatt Stadium in Omaha? The old College World
oh my
Series?
gosh. I don't know if they still have the old stadium. That's a really good question. I know the new stadium is magnificent, and we'd
That's
love to
huge.
play there too.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rosenblatt. I mean, that's another one where
I didn't
you
think
could
about
feel the
Rosenblatt.
ghosts playing with you. Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh. Um, yeah, I mean it's incredible just to watch it on TV. I can't even imagine what it's like in person. I already told you, my wife is tells me all the time. She's like, I got an email about the wait list. And that's crazy wait list for these games where I can just walk up to a Montgomery Biscuits game where I can drive down to Atlanta and go watch the Braves and just get a ticket right then and there.
Yeah.
What do you see the future of baseball in 10 years? Because I do think Banana Ball's fingerprint is going to be on it some way, shape, or form.
I think so as well. You know, I feel like if any of the banana ball rules ever somehow matriculate their way into Major League Baseball, I think it would be that you're not allowed to step out of the batter's box.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's just no need for, you know, maybe you take it away in the playoffs so you can add some tension and let people step out and take some deep breaths when the moment matters most. But you look at some of the best hitters in baseball now, Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton on the Yankees rarely step out of the batter's box.
Yeah.
Barry Bonds, maybe the best hitter of all time. You know, say what you want to about all of that, but You can't deny the talent. He never stepped out of the batter's box. I
Yeah.
mean, there are people who have been at the top echelon of this game who don't do it. So you eliminate so much time wasting when, I loved watching him and hated what he did to the Yankees. But like Big Poppy's the guy who always stands out to me as he got out of the box, undid both of his batting gloves, spit in his batting gloves, rubbed them together. Yeah, it's the classic and terrifying
Yeah.
ritual between every pitch, and then he
Dude,
steps up and hits walk-offs in games 3 and 4 of the 2004 ALCS, or 4 and 5 rather. But anyway, I don't know why I'm bringing up that memory. It's just the space that Poppy has rent free in my mind.
yeah.
I think that is to get back to the main point. I think not stepping out of the batter's box is the one thing that could truly be adopted. Funny enough, in MLB Network, MLB Tonight prep meeting, Greg Amsinger, a magnificent host, another one of the best people you'll meet in life. They were joking about like things that will never be added to baseball, but that he would like to add, and it was fans catching a foul ball isn't out. And that's before I ever knew about banana ball, or
Yeah.
there was no connection, but just great minds think alike. Greg Amsinger and Jesse Cole and company down in Bananaland. Greg thought of it as a great, fun joke for the F block on MLB Tonight, and Jesse Cole and everybody took it seriously in Bananaland when they came up with it. I mean,
like the
I
walk.
got it.
No, like
The walk is very fun. It will never make it into Major League
never
Baseball.
make it, but there's actually a strategy behind it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's fun. It adds excitement. I completely get the thought behind it. Is that you go across all sports, and the vast majority of them you're not walking at any point. Unless you're talking about golf or whatever. But yeah, it's like you get ball 4, all of a sudden you can get 2 bases. You can get 3 if the defense really messes something up, and shoot, you could even make it all the way around if someone makes an overthrow or something. But for anybody who doesn't know, when a ball 4 is fired, the hitter immediately can start sprinting, and the defense has to get the ball to touch all 7 fielders behind the pitcher and catcher before it's live. So when banana ball started, it was an automatic 2 bases, sometimes 3 if you were really fast. But analytics have come into the game this young into banana ball's life, and we figured out the best way to get it through the infield. You have the outfielders crash, and all of a sudden the right fielder's flipping the ball to the left fielder at second, and you can often keep people to first base, or it's a bang bang play at second, which is the dream for us because we're just trying to create action.
Yeah.
That's a really fun role. I love it for sure. And I mean, I got to be honest, Trip, I like what Major League Baseball has done. I said earlier that I can be a curmudgeon about rules changes, but I like that they basically banned the shift, and now 2 guys have to be on each side of the infield with their feet on the dirt until the pitch is fired. And I kind of like that they added an inch and a half to each side of the base, so that's a little easier to steal bases and stuff. I appreciate that. You know what? Because the shift, you could say it's not in the spirit of the game, whatever. It's fun to have lefty hitters not having to just try and hit home runs every time, and they can actually try and get some base hits, and all of a sudden you've got guys on the bags and a better chance to steal bases and everything. I'm for that. Just don't mess with my extra innings, or start the ghost runner in like the 13th or 14th or something like that when things really get dire.
Well, I think MLB has to take notice of what's going on in Savannah and the
they
attendance. And I mean, you were talking about the spring training site, and it's not to say they're going to make all kinds of crazy changes, but I think you'll see subtle changes here and there, because I mean, like I said, you can go on Twitter and look for something from a Cubs Brewers game versus a Bananas game, and I can tell you which one's going to be viral. So it's just, I definitely think it's made them take notice, which I think in return makes the game better because they're going to make changes for the better. So I mean, it's crazy to think just a random idea that Jesse Cole's come up with, and now it's trickled all the way down to where MLB, whether they would ever admit it or not, they're starting to make some changes to the game to make it more fan friendly. Because we go to visit ballparks and we'll find ourselves getting up, and we went to opening day of the Braves, which is a dream of mine. But next thing I know, we're walking around the park looking at it, and we're like, oh, it's the 4th inning. Who's even up right now? Whereas a Bananas game, you're pretty much watching the whole entire thing. So yeah, I think it's just crazy to see what all the second, third order effects it's having. And one thing that I really want to ask you about is, in the military, we get this a lot. It's been very adaptive for the longest time with people love to say like, well, that's the way we've always done things. That's the way we've always done it. And lately, it's allowed more room for creative mindsets for people to say, well, yeah, can we possibly do it this way and it'd be a little bit better? But some people still struggle with that. And I know with Bananas Ball, it's, being passionate, being curious, willing to fail. What would you say to anyone out there that's kind of stuck in that adaptive mindset and is like, well, I don't have a creative bone in my body?
Oh man, I think having more voices in your life is important. If
Mm,
you don't think you have the creative muscles yourself, bring in some other people to bounce ideas off of, and bring in some of their ideas on their own. I mean, that's truly the probably a part of the greatest recipe for success for us is you find you don't want to have too many voices in a meeting. You get 15 people in an idea palooza, all of a sudden it becomes a little bit too much chaos. But you get 5 to 8 people together who all are bringing 10 ideas, and everybody respects each other's opinion, and everybody can add to or retract from other people's ideas to try and perfect it and
yep.
find that diamond in the rough. I mean, it's just creative, constructive conversation that is the key to this stuff. And besides that, I think reading is there's so
Yeah.
many amazing books out there. We have a book club in the prep season that actually we've kind of been underwater with everything else we're doing in life. We actually haven't started one yet this year, which is kind of like a shock to me now. But in the past, over the last 2 prep seasons, we've read a whole lot of books from really successful creative businesses, like the business behind the Grateful Dead and Chick-fil-A,
Mm.
and
Covert
and
Cows. Is
stuff like
that the
that.
book?
Shoot, Covert Cows. We read no, the one we read was Truett's like
Oh,
autobiography.
okay. Gotcha.
Um yes, which was illuminating as well, just how, he kind of created what he felt like was like the perfect chicken sandwich and just built it off
Yeah.
that. And then the marketing genius behind the cows like took them from a really successful business to the moon. Just you can learn so much from what people have done successfully in the
Yeah.
past. And that's what Jesse Cole did at the beginning of his career when he was in Gastonia, North Carolina, with the Grizzlies in the Coastal Plain League. Is instead of studying general managers and presidents of baseball teams, he studied Walt Disney, Bill Veeck, and P.T. Barnum, entertainment
Yeah.
masters of the world. And it's not saying you steal all of your ideas, but there's a lot of ideas that can be recycled and will work once again today, or you can tweak them and add a modern twist to it. So yeah, it's just getting some people together and having fun bouncing ideas off each other, and also open up a book once in a while from some creative masters of history.
Yeah. So much to unpack from what you just said. For one, sometimes you don't have to always have the best ideas. You can say something and it could trigger something in me to where you could add to it, as you said. And then also, I love the quote, while it's wise to learn from our own experience, it's even wiser to learn from the experience of others.
Yes.
Which is what we try to do here on this show, is have everybody share these experiences. And then what's a good book recommendation you would recommend that a listener or myself pick up for creativity?
My favorite so far that we've done was the business book about the Grateful Dead, and it's escaping me what the name of it is, but if you look up like the business of the Grateful Dead, you
Yep.
will find it. And it certainly hit personally for us because it was like such a cult movement, and kind of took the world by storm.
Yeah.
And it's we always call ourselves unscalable. Like, part of the reason we've had the success is we continue to do things out of the box, and maybe it doesn't make sense monetarily or budget wise, but we'll figure it out later. Do something to create lifelong fans, and they will bless you with support, online, word of mouth, monetarily, whatever. Creating fans is our number one goal, and the financial bottom line is second to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say the business book about the Grateful Dead, mind-boggling. So many cool stories about their crazy world that they created, and their rabid fan base. That's what I think I took the most from personally, and also just enjoyed entertainment wise the most.
So that one,
Yep, nailed it.
everything I know about business, I learned from the Grateful Dead.
Oh,
Oh,
it was
I'm
amazing.
checking that one out because I like those.
Perfect.
Have you read Creativity Inc. by Ed Catmull, founder of Pixar.
No, no, but I know that Jesse and Jared both have.
Love it. Love that book. It is so good. And it tells you a little bit about how some of the Disney and Pixar movies could have been, but what they ended up kind of turning
Yes.
into. So that's a very good one. What is your ultimate goal when all is said and done? Biko's book is closed. Grandchildren are talking about you. What is the pinnacle for you?
It still is the same for me as when I started this dream when I was 15 years old, and that's broadcasting for the New York Yankees, whether
Yeah.
it's radio or television. It's funny too because I think the Yankees are kind of the anti-Bananas. Honestly, there's no team in Major League Baseball that is less Savannah Bananas
Oh
than
yeah,
my beloved
shave.
Yankees.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, antiquated
Traditionalist.
stuff. But I love them, and
Yeah.
I can critique them as well. But yeah, the Yankees, man. I mean, broadcasting for any Major League Baseball team or for any network that has Major League Baseball games, boom, sign me up. I mean, I'm all in on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the my New York Yankees. I mean, that would be a lifelong dream imagined. That with all of the unbelievable things that have happened in my young life so far would be the most unbelievable of all.
All right, final question for you. Legacy. I like to ask this question. 100 years from now, when someone mentions you, what are they going to say about you?
Oh, I just hope that they had fun watching my broadcasts and whatever kind of videos were out in the world. I mean, that's kind of my vibe, and that's probably a reason why I think the Yankees may evolve to be open to somebody like that, but maybe I don't fit that mold traditionally. But I mean, I'm a goofy guy. I like to bring a lot of energy to my broadcasts. I like to have fun. I like to joke around. I mean, baseball especially it's 15 minutes of action and and 3+ hours of downtime in your traditional game. Banana ball is a lot more fast paced, so it's a lot easier to just stay in the game and not have to find all kinds of sidetracks or whatever. But yeah, I just want people to feel like they had fun with whatever way they ingested my content or met me or experienced me. I hope it brought them some kind of joy. That's really the bottom line is bringing fun to the world.
Yeah, y'all are definitely doing that. I mean, it's crazy just to look the stuff up online, even like your interviews where you've got your head in a plate of burgers and just there's one where you're like in the dress. It's just crazy stuff. But it seems like that's you just having fun. It's just you with a camera and a mic. And then final comments for our listeners out there.
Oh my gosh. Well, I would say, chase your dream. That's kind of my theme is, as far as we know, we can only prove that we live once. There's no science to deny other possibilities or whatever. But, we've got this life. So just try and do something in the world that you enjoy and have fun with. And,
Yeah.
be able to make a living for you and the family and support others and people in need. That's what it's all about right there. But I mean, that's what it all and everybody's got different experiences and environments, and everyone's a product of whatever you have in life and the duties that you have. I know I've personally been beyond blessed to have two supportive families where I can go out and follow my goofy little dream and not make any money in the world in my first whatever 5 to 10 years in the business, whatever it's going to be. And I can do that, and that is such a privilege. It's not even funny, and I hope everyone else has that kind of an opportunity. But yeah, just follow your dreams and enjoy life.
Okay, awesome. Well, I see the lights coming in there.
Oh yeah, ambulance flying by.
Well, I appreciate you taking time to do this, folks. Definitely. Oh, where can they find out about Banana Ball? I can't believe I was about to wrap this episode up and didn't throw that out there.
Oh, that's okay. I do that all the time in my interviews. Is yeah, you go right past it. The Sav Bananas on most social medias, Twitter, Instagram. I believe that is what we are on TikTok as well. I mean, the TikTok is really where we make our bacon. Where we've got, I think we're approaching 4 million followers right now. I'm not sure if any team in Major League Baseball is at 1 million yet.
See?
So that's mind boggling. Really fun content there. Facebook. I mean, whatever you're on YouTube. you can find the Savannah Bananas. I am incredibly unactive on social media, which is surprising, but I continue to strive to be more active. If you want to check out any kind of goofy stuff I have, it's Biko Rico Suave on the Twitter and Instagram world.
There we go. Biko Rico Suave. Okay. Well, I appreciate you. And folks, definitely go check them out. See if they're coming anywhere near you. Travel if they are within driving distance. Go watch them. Trust me, from what I've seen by watching them on ESPN, watching the documentary, you have older people that are leaving there who probably don't watch baseball on a regular basis. And they're like, this is the most fun I've had since I've been living here. So go check them out, support them, follow them on all their social media platforms as well. But that is going to conclude this episode of the Shadows Podcast.